Hello again, everybody. I want to go through and share with you guys how to automate getting your responses done to your near miss reporting. So in the last video, we created this McCall near miss reporting form. Now I want to show you guys how to actually receive what they type in. That's through an app called Power Automate. So if you're already inside Microsoft Forms, you just click up here on these 9 little dots up here in the corner. If not, you just need to go to any Microsoft website and be signed in and click on this app launcher. But over here in the apps, mine happens to show up right here just because I've used it recently. But if you haven't used Power Automate before, you might have to come down here to All Apps and then do a search for it and like Power Automate. So inside Power Automate, this just allows you to do exactly, it says it automates everything for you, so that way you don't have to do everything. So now instead of having to send a report each week of what your misses have been submitted or anything like that, you can actually just go through and have it send it on its own. You don't even have to touch anything. You'll just get a notification. So what we're going to do is we're first going to create our own. When you click over here on the create, it gives you some templates, different things down here that you can go through. We're just going to ignore all those because this one's actually pretty simple. So up here on the top, it gives you a bunch of different options, but we're going to do an automated cloud flow because this is everything that's done online. If your computer was to get destroyed in a fire, this would still run because it's ran on a server, not on your actual computer. So we'll do the automated cloud flow. We're going to add in a name, so this will be McCall in this recording. And then you have to select what the trigger is. What's going to actually cause this form or this flow to engage. So here it's anytime a new response is submitted into a Microsoft form. So we're going to go ahead and select that and hit create. You can see there's a bunch of other different things you can use if you were to try and use this to automate a different part of one of your work tasks. But we're just wanting to get those notifications on Microsoft Forms. So we're going to go ahead and click create. And this is your actual flow here. So when you come in here, it's going to say, okay, whenever a new response is submitted, but it needs to know which form to watch. So then you're going to come down here and we're going to select in the column near miss reporting. And then now whenever a new response is submitted to the McCall near miss reporting, Power Automate will automatically send that or knows it needs to do something. So now we're going to add in a new step. And the first thing we need to do is we need to actually get the information from the form. So down here, there's tons of different options you can select, but I would just like to do a search for form. And then right here, we need to do this get response details from Microsoft Forms. So we select there. We have to select again, McCall near miss reporting. And it's just because this is a new step. So it needs to know which form to pull the information from. If you'd selected a different form, what it would do is every time somebody submitted to the McCall near miss reporting, and then instead I had selected the, let's do a cornhole follow-up. It would pull information from the cornhole follow-up form every time that somebody submits something to the McCall near miss reporting. So you just want to make sure that both of those are the same options there. And then down here where it says response ID, we need to actually get the response ID. So you're going to click into that box. It's going to give you this dynamic content right here. It automatically puts in response ID for you. Because every time somebody responds, it gets a different ID number. But because that's unique and you don't want to type it in every time, what we're doing is we're just basically telling it, hey, every time somebody submits something, pull in that response ID and use that to gain our information. Now we're going to go down to the next step. One of the things that we're going to do here, because in our form, we'd asked to do if there's a high five or a near miss, we're going to have to actually have it select if it's a high five or a near miss and do different actions for each one. So to do that, we're going to have what's down here is called a condition. It's under the control section. So if you just click up here on control, you can see all these different control ideas and apply to each, do until. But we're just going to do this with a condition. And you see it gives you here the yes or no options. So now we have to tell it, okay, what are our conditions? Well, we want to know if it's a near miss or a high five. So we come down here to where it says choose a value. We can click on here and it's dynamic content again. So if they answer the question, are you submitting a high five or near miss? So if their answer is high five. And so it's gonna ask that question. It's the answer to this high five. If that's a yes, then it's gonna do this action over here. If it's a no, then it's gonna do the action over here. You want to make sure that this is typed in exactly as you have it on your form. So if I had high fives and I had an S at the end, I need to make sure I have an S here, otherwise it's not going to work. So if it is select high five, we're going to hit add an action. And here's where we can set it up to just send an email. So they're sending in the high five, we're going to say send an email. And you'll see down here, you got a few different options. We can get an email notification, or we can just send an email. So we can click down here to just send forms in an email. And here's where I can type in. So let's say the general manager, Ben Thomas, wanted to be informed every time somebody submitted a high five. I can just do a search for his name because he's a part of Franklin, and pulls information in there. But then I also want to be notified every time this is submitted. And I also want it to go to the high fives email address. So then there's high five right there. So then it will send an email every time somebody selects high five on the form to these people. Then we want to go ahead and put in a subject here. So that way people know what it is. This email does come from you. So Ben Thomas, every time someone submits a high five, he's going to get an email from me saying, hey, this person submitted a high five. So you want to kind of set it apart so they know it's an automated email. So the way I usually do that, I put everything in caps. Five. And then I do have some information. So you can do the dynamic content over here. So we can say this is from, and then we can use this question right here. So what is your name? You put that in there. Whatever they put in that field will be a part of the subject line. And then we can say it's going to say we're submitting it for this person. And then we can fill out the body. I'm going to remove Ben Thomas and high five those so the way they don't actually get notified when I fill one of these out. So then we can actually format the body to look how we want it to look. So I'm going to put this at a high 24, underlined. I'm going to say high five reports. And we're down 2 spaces. We're going to have it underlined. There's going to be in 12 fonts. It only underlined it. That was nice of it. Submitted by bold. We're going to say that answer to that question right there. And another 2 lines. And then I'm going to say for answer that question. So I think I made that bold too. Okay, unbold. It's not as intuitive as Microsoft Office. The shortcuts don't even work on here. And then another space down, bold it again. Summary of the 5, following. Unbold this, but I want to do this, and then really high five. So now we're going to go ahead and save this. All right, so now it's saved. So if I was to submit a high five, it would go ahead and go through. If I submitted a near miss, it wouldn't. So we're going to go ahead and put in the near miss one as well. So we're going to click over here again, add an action. And then what we can do is we can actually just copy this. You can hit copy to a clipboard. And then you can come over here and say, I'm going to go to my clipboard. Look, there's my send an email. So then everything that I had set up will actually be in here. So you know, so it still says high five report. So then all I have to do is just change that out. And say near this report. Who it's coming from. I don't want to have it. I don't want to pull the high five information. So I need to back that out and get rid of that information there. And then down here, the submitted by can stay the same. But this is where we're going to change down here because these guys are no longer valid because it's now near miss. So then we're going to say, what is the near miss? Oops, all caps still. What is the near miss? Go down the next line, and then so down here. There's the units you witnessed. Double space down, that's what it's bolded for me again. I can explore the future. Unbold it again, and then get the response there. So we're gonna go ahead and save, and then we're gonna run this through so that you guys can actually see what it looks like. So we'll go back to the main page here. So now this will show you every time it runs or every time it does something. So now if we go back to our near miss reporting, let me pull up my email here so that way we can see it as it comes through. So now when we come over here to near miss reporting, make sure I don't accidentally email somebody. To email. Perfect. And I'll just go into it. All right, so now we'll go ahead and fill this out. Go to the preview. So we're gonna say Joe. Oh, that's there we go. Joe. Something. I can't think of names today. We're gonna go ahead and submit a high five. We're gonna go this to Jane Doe. That was a high five for. Jane helps me and Jan. And then we hit submit. So now what's going to happen is because we submitted that, it's now going to go into the flow. The flow is going to see that, and you can actually come back into here and look at the details. You can now see, hey, look, it ran 9 seconds ago, took about a second to run. And then when we go into the email, we can look at this high five report from submitted by Joe something for Jane Doe. Summary of the high five. Jane, help me on Jan the printer today. And then now what I can do, looks like I had 2 of them set up, sorry. So now what I can do is I can also go back in and then submit a near miss, and we can look and see how the near miss reports. So we're just going to put my information again. Near miss was near miss you witnessed. I'll slip on some ice. It's the future. I spent. I hit submit. And then now you'll see it come through on my email address. Depending on how long it runs. There it is right there. Near miss report from Zach Luker. Submitted by Zach Luker was near miss. I slipped on some ice. I can fix for the future. Ice melts. And so we can go through, and if you don't like that formatting, as I'm looking at it, it's kind of small print. So I want to go through and change it. I also don't like the fact that it kept my name in bold. So then I could come back into my flow here, come up here and click edit. And so then as I'm going through all these conditions, click on this guy, and unbold it, and underline. Click on this guy, unbold and underline. This guy, unbold and underline. And then select that guy, and we're going to make him to 16. And that guy 16. Okay, it can be a 16. And make this guy just a little bit bigger. Say 36. And then we save it. And so then you can go back through and report it again and try it again. And then you can go through and add your other people to it and sure you're happy with this. So now I can take out my name and put in Ben Thomas and everybody else. There's also some advanced options down here. So you can add information in here. So if they you want it to always be CC'd or BCC'd, you can do that. You can change the sensitivity level. Sorry, not sensitivity, importance level. So that way it's always like a low importance when it comes through a high importance. That stuff as well. Anyways, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy Power Automate.